Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 29th May 25. We've got quite a packed day of news today. We'll be looking at some key financial moves here in Malaysia and also some, well, pretty big shifts happening globally that could definitely have an impact.
Absolutely. We've gone through the sources, trying to pull out the most crucial bits for you, everything from what the regulators are doing to some massive investments and, those wider economic currents.
Okay, let's dive right in, starting here at home. Bank Negara Malaysia seems to be quite active on the compliance front, handing out some significant fines.
Yeah, nearly RM 5 million in total across 4 lenders. It's a strong signal.
Okay, who was involved?
Well, the biggest fine went to HSBC and its Islamic arm. That was RM 3.26 million. Then Maybank Islamic got fined RM 1.2 million, and Bank Pembangunan in Malaysia around RM 493,500.
And what were the main reasons? What were they flagged for?
It seems the core issues were around failures in customer due diligence.
Meaning knowing your customer.
Exactly. Making sure they really know who they're dealing with,
Yeah.
especially identifying the beneficial owners, who ultimately controls things. There were also issues with sanctions screening.
Right, checking against those restricted lists.
Precisely. And for Maybank Islamic specifically, there was an issue with inaccurate information being sent to CCRIS.
Ah, CCRIS, that's the credit reference system, isn't it? Why is accurate data there so critical?
Well, if that CCRIS data isn't right, it can really unfairly affect people and businesses looking for credit. It's, fundamental for fair assessment.
Makes sense.
And the fines for the due diligence and sanctions bits, that clearly shows Bank Negara's focus on preventing things like money laundering or financing terrorism. These aren't small fines. It tells banks they need to tighten up.
Okay, so a real push on financial integrity. But beyond that, we're also seeing some really exciting news about future investments, especially in digital and clean energy.
Oh, definitely. Minister Zafrul mentioned Malaysia's digital investment pipeline has hit, get this, RM 59.1 billion as of April this year. Yeah, and that directly supports the goal of becoming a sort of regional AI hub.
And Microsoft made a big move related to that, didn't they?
They did. They launched their Malaysia West cloud region. It's part of that huge U.S. $2.2 billion investment they announced.
So that brings top-tier AI data centers here. What about data residency? I heard that mentioned.
Yes, that's a crucial part. Data residency means companies, especially in sensitive sectors like finance, can keep their data physically in Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
It helps with the sovereignty rules, local compliance, making it easier and, frankly, safer for businesses to jump onto cloud and AI.
Right. Lowering the barrier to entry almost. And alongside digital, you mentioned clean energy.
A massive push there, too. A U.S. $10 billion partnership between MIDA and ACWA Power.
10 billion.
Yep. They're aiming for 12.5 gigawatts of capacity by 2040, focusing on renewables, green hydrogen, water solutions. It lines up perfectly with the National Energy Transition Roadmap. Huge commitment.
So it seems like there's real momentum building, strong foreign and local confidence in Malaysia's future in these key areas. Now, shifting gears a bit to company earnings today, sounded like a bit of a mixed picture.
It's definitely mixed. You see different companies facing different pressures. AirAsia X, for example, their first quarter net profit actually dropped quite a bit, about 37%.
Even with more passengers.
Yeah, revenue and passenger numbers were up, but higher operating costs, especially maintenance, really weighed things down. They're adding capacity to Almaty, but suspending the Nairobi route, so some adjustments happening.
Okay, but Axiata looks stronger on the profit side.
It did, yeah. Their Q1 net profit more than doubled. Interestingly, that was despite slightly lower revenue.
How did that happen?
Mostly lower costs, some helpful foreign exchange gains, and a better contribution from their share in CelcomDigi. It really shows how crucial cost management is right now.
Interesting dynamic. Okay, let's zoom out now beyond Malaysia. What's happening internationally? Starting with China.
China is, well, it's still complex. Economists are actually forecasting worse deflation for 2025. They're predicting consumer inflation at just 0.3%.
Still, even with better growth and export forecasts after that U.S. trade truce?
Exactly. The deflation seems persistent, driven by domestic stuff like intense price wars and the ongoing slump in property. That squeezes company profits and, people's incomes.
Yet, at the same time, they're making a pretty bold move in their commodities markets.
Very interesting one. The Shanghai Futures Exchange is planning a major change. They want to let international players use foreign currency as collateral for yuan trades.
What's the goal there?
Clearly to attract more global money and potentially give China more sway over global commodity prices. It's quite a contrast opening up that market while battling deflation at home.
Definitely a contrast. Okay, elsewhere on trade, some breathing room between the U.S. and EU.
A temporary one, yes. President Trump pushed back the deadline for potential 50% tariffs on EU imports to July 9th. That came after some decent U.S. economic data, so it eases tensions for now.
And any central bank action to note.
Keep an eye on the Bank of Korea. They're expected to cut their main policy rate, probably by 25 basis points, on Thursday. That follows their economy shrinking a bit in Q1 and inflation getting closer to their target.
Right, and just briefly on the geopolitical front, the U.S. and Russia over Ukraine.
Yeah, the rhetoric definitely heated up publicly. President Trump warned Putin was, quote, playing with fire. This comes alongside reports of Russia building up troops near Ukraine's Sumy region, and well, the fighting remains intense, still very volatile.
Okay, so pulling all of this together, what stands out most for you today? What's the big takeaway?
For Malaysia, I think it has to be those huge investment announcements we talked about earlier. Microsoft's cloud region going live, that massive U.S. $10 billion clean energy deal with ACWA Power.
Yeah, those were significant numbers.
They really are. They just underscore this serious strategic push to position Malaysia as a leader in the digital economy, in AI, and definitely in sustainable energy. These feel like concrete steps shaping the future landscape.
It's fascinating to see that level of commitment materialize. It really makes you think, doesn't it? As you listen, perhaps consider how this growing digital infrastructure and the clean energy focus might ripple through industries you follow or even your own work. What new opportunities could emerge?
Absolutely. And to keep up with all these developments shaping Malaysia's economy and, the wider region, make sure you subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast. We'll keep bringing you these deep dives. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.